Did Sanjay Gupta just double down and lie again on Big Pharma's Communist News Network? Thank you for tuning in to High Impact Flicks. If you can hear the sound of my voice, you are the resistance. And if you're not right now, you better think about joining.
Because things are getting super dicey.
Hey guys, study after study shows that if you want strong bones and muscles, healthy hair, skin, teeth, and nails, you need the 5 types of collagen in your diet. I get mine from BioTrust. I've got a link in the description with a massive discount, and it'll tell you all about it. Now, I'm not going to mince words about this, and I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, but you're looking at a two-faced, unprincipled, spineless, double-tongued liar who gets a paycheck from a deceptive and dishonest news outlet, the Counterfeit News Network. This guy right here, the chief medical correspondent for the Communist News Network, had an opportunity after his interview with Joe Rogan to set the record straight, to ask his company why they lied about Rogan taking horse dewormer and expose that lie. But he didn't take that opportunity. Why? Because he lacks the internal mechanism, the character that it takes to confront lies and liars and extinguish those lies with his own personal stand for truth. But you know why he won't do it? Because he's counted the cost, and the cost of doing that is just too much for him. This man right here loves the money and fame and the notoriety that BlackRock and Big Pharma-owned CNN provides for him. That alone makes this man an enemy of the people. And I'm going to demonstrate that right now. Just to recap, here's what was said by him on Rogan's podcast.
The rest of them are all lying about me taking horse medication. And we should talk about that.
That bothered you.
It should bother you, too. They're lying at your network about people taking human drugs versus drugs for veterinary.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing... That's a lie that they're conscious of. It's not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, "You are not a horse, you are not a cow, stop taking this stuff," or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making the
Nobel Prize
in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it with
right
you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's a problem that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude,
I mean, what did they say?
They lied
What did
and
they
said
say?
I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
they
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch of other medications.
If you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking it, the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease, and as you say, it's probably, I think what, 250 million people have taken it around the world.
More,
I get that.
Way more.
So
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things on
you
the
have
ledger.
You have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before coming on your podcast.
But they did it with such glee.
No,
yes,
Joe.
They did. I watched.
Gupta tried to minimize the outright willful lie by saying, calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that. He then tried to deflect by mentioning the snarky FDA tweet, which further vilified ivermectin. Joe Rogan said, "Why would you say that when it's been prescribed to billions of people?"
And then Rogan further pointed out, and you'll never hear Gupta say this on his pathetic news network, even though he agreed with it, that ivermectin has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. Then Gupta played stupid, acting like he didn't know that his network said that about Rogan taking horse dewormer, but then he said they shouldn't have said that and that, quote, it shouldn't be called that. Rogan said, does it bother you that they outright lied about me taking horse dewormer? To which Gupta said, they shouldn't have said that.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get
It's
that.
along
They
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch-
horse. It shouldn't be called that.
Rogan said, why did they do that? Gupta said, I don't know.
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Rogan said, you didn't ask? And then Gupta said, I didn't ask. I should have asked before coming on your podcast. Now fast forward just a couple hours later, and here's his interview with liar and accuser of white men being the biggest terror threat in America, Donald Lamone.
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
On Rogan's podcast a day earlier, Gupta said that he should have addressed the lie. Well, here's his big opportunity. Let's see if he does it.
So very important. I know it's in large part a tongue-in-cheek interview, you know, because it's Joe Rogan and there's lots of, you're jockeying back and forth. But he did say something about ivermectin that I think wasn't actually correct about CNN and lying, okay? Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used as a horse dewormer. So it is not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer.
That wasn't the lie. The lie was that Rogan used ivermectin, a horse or livestock dewormer, according to CNN. The real deal is that CNN wanted to intentionally communicate clearly that Rogan took horse dewormer. You want the proof? Well, here it is. These are just a few examples of their lies. And the prostitutes didn't just lie with their teleprompter reading lips, they wrote the lie in the lower chyrons on the screen so you could read it for yourself.
One of those drugs he mentioned, ivermectin, is something more often used to deworm horses.
Look at the chyron. Joe Rogan announces he has COVID, praises horse dewormer ivermectin. Right here, Brian Stelter just makes up why he thinks Rogan admitted that he has COVID.
And in this case, he seems to have admitted he has COVID because it's hurting him in the pocketbook.
It should be noted that during this interview with Lion Brian Stelter and the Carrot Lady, CIA asset Anderson Cooper just couldn't let the audience out of the segment without reminding us once again.
Ivermectin, apparently given to deworm animals.
But when you have a horse deworming medication that's discouraged by the government, that actually causes some people in this crazed environment we're in to actually want to try it. That's the upside down world we're in with figures like Joe Rogan.
Then we have this clip of CNN prostitute Erin Burnett that Rogan played during the Gupta interview.
Breaking news, one of the world's highest paid and most influential podcast hosts, Joe Rogan, just announced that he's tested positive for coronavirus. Rogan telling his 13 million Instagram followers that he was treated with several drugs, and he included ivermectin on the list, a drug used for livestock.
Not only does CNN want to convey this false claim audibly, but they want to make sure you see the lie with your own eyes. Check out this lower chyron. Joe Rogan says he has COVID, taking livestock drug despite warnings. So it's clear that CNN lied. Gupta admitted that CNN shouldn't have said that, and yet here he is with a golden opportunity to call the lie out on his own network. What will he do?
Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used as a horse dewormer. So it is not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get
It's
that.
along
They
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch-
horse. It shouldn't be called that. They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Here's your chance to correct Donald Lamone and tell him he shouldn't have said that, Sanjay. Are you going to do it?
I think that's important, and it is not approved for COVID. Correct?
That's right. That's correct. It is not approved for COVID, and you're not taking a horse dewormer. I get it. You're right. I mean, the FDA even put out a statement saying, you know, basically reminding people, it was a strange sort of message from the FDA, but they said, you're not a horse, you're not a cow, stop taking this stuff, is essentially what they said, referring to ivermectin.
What the hell did Gupta just do there? He implied by using the same FDA tweet he discussed with Rogan that Rogan took horse and cow medication by placing it in the context of what Rogan took. Physician prescribed ivermectin is not livestock dewormer.
Now, I think what Joe's point
That
is...
it's been approved for humans, but not necessarily for COVID, right? Yeah.
That's correct. It's been used for a parasitic disease, for something it's called river blindness, and it's been very effective for that. But, you know, just because it works for one thing doesn't mean it works for something else. Right. And, you know, there's still a few ongoing clinical trials around ivermectin, but for the most part, if you look at the data, there's no evidence that it really works here. When Joe got sick, he took ivermectin. He also took monoclonal antibodies, which is, you know, an infusion of these antibodies. So he took both those things. It's very likely it was the monoclonal antibodies that made him feel better so quickly.
Sanjay, always a pleasure. I hope this was an easier experience than Joe Rogan. You held your own, though. It's very good.
I hope this was an easier experience than Joe Rogan.
Of course, being interviewed by a guy who gets his paycheck from the same people Sanjay gets his will be easier than going on the show of somebody who will challenge your narrative and question the overall big pharma drug-pushing totalitarian agenda. Here's the rest of the Rogan clip.
But the point is, that's a lie.
It can be used for humans. I get it. I totally...
Not just could be used for humans, is often used for humans, along with all the other drugs I took, all human drugs.
Yes.
They know it's a human drug.
It's right. But
they lied.
The thing...
It's defamatory.
It is, yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
It's defamatory, right?
Well, I don't know if it's defamatory.
I bet it is.
Well...
Guys, everybody knows this is defamation. You don't need a legal degree to see that.
I'm not a lawyer.
It's a lie.
Well, see, here's the thing. You can have nuanced discussions about this.
No,
right?
you can't.
Yeah,
you can't have nuanced discussions about lying about someone taking horseshoe
There
wormer.
was no...
Rogan's right. Nuanced lies are still lies. Pharma Representative Gupta tried many times to redirect the conversation away from the fact that CNN is a network of liars peddling lies.
Glee, by the way, from her. She
Well,
was.
I didn't watch her.
anyone takes people's illness.
Oh, yes, they do.
They don't want you to get
stop
sick,
it.
Joe.
Yes, they do.
They
were
want you to get
upset that
sick.
I got healthy. That's one thing they didn't report on. The fact that I was negative 5 days later and working out 6 days later.
Well,
6 days after infection, I was back in the gym.
I'm glad.
Felt great.
I'm glad you do. I really
Me
am.
too.
I think
Thank you.
Most of the
I'm
people
glad you're glad. You're a nice guy.
Most of the people I know, I think, would be glad that you. I don't think that there was any.
There's a lot of people out there that weren't glad. But my point is, you're working for a news organization. If they're lying about a comedian taking horse medication, what are they telling us about Russia? What are they telling us about Syria? Do you understand that that's why people get concerned about the veracity of the news?
The concern was, look, just the nuanced part of this. And you're not taking a horse dewormer. I get it.
And of course, Gupta doesn't answer that last part because he knows full well that CNN lies to cover for the big pharma industrial complex. This man has no spine, no moral backbone or character, and he's making bank by selling lies. Share this and get it to Joe Rogan. Tell him if he wants an earth-shattering interview blowing this whole facade out of the water to get in touch with Brian at High Impact Flicks. Then we can have a real discussion about what's going on. Leave your comments for the Global Thought Police in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting really quick. So make sure you and your family have a long-term storable food supply. Support the channel and get $50 off with my link in the description while you still can.